There's a moment in this job that most people never see. It's not when you're stuck, it's not when you're reversing, it's the moment before all of that, when everything still looks fine. You haven't made a mistake yet, but you're already committed. And from that point on, every decision matters more than the last. Looking back, this is always the part people underestimate. Before you see how that situation unfolded, I want to take a step back and show you how it actually began. Because moments like that don't start with panic or with a big obvious mistake. They start quietly, almost normally. You're doing your job, you're following a route, traffic is moving, nothing feels out of place yet. And that's how it happens in real life. When you drive for a living, especially in a heavy vehicle, you make hundreds of small decisions every single day. Most of them don't even feel like decisions. They feel like routine. You read the road, the mirrors, the traffic, the signs, and your brain fills in the rest automatically. That system works very well most of the time, until it doesn't. Situations like this aren't created by one bad choice. They're built gradually, through a series of decisions that all make sense on their own. And that's what makes them dangerous. Of course, planning matters. Every professional driver knows that. Route is checked, sat-nav is set, you try to think one step ahead. On paper, everything still looks fine. From above, everything connects. But from inside the cab, you start noticing what maps don't show. Road width, sight lines, the way a street feels rather than how it looks. And sometimes, reality doesn't match the plan anymore. One thing that's important to say here is that sat-navs are absolutely indispensable for HGV drivers. Every driver should be using one. They're especially critical for things like low bridges, height restrictions, and weight limits. Those are usually mapped extremely well. A low bridge doesn't appear overnight, but areas do change. New industrial estates get built, access roads move, developments appear quietly. Sometimes the mapping simply hasn't caught up yet. At that point, the sat-nav has done its job. What comes next is judgment. Another thing people often don't realize is how common it is for industrial estates to be located behind residential areas, especially newer housing developments. It happens far more often than most people think. When you're doing multi-drop work in a Class 1, you don't live only on motorways. You move constantly between main roads, smaller access roads, and places that were never designed with a heavy truck in mind, but still need servicing. Heavy vehicle driving isn't just motorway cruising, unless you are on a very specific job. Even then, you still end up navigating yards, estates, and access roads where judgment matters more than speed. It's also worth understanding the difference between advisory signs and prohibitive ones. A blue, unsuitable for HGVs sign isn't a legal prohibition, it's guidance. And personally, those are the signs I take most seriously. Not because they are enforced, but because they are usually there for a physical reason. Geometry, turning space, the risk of getting stuck. Red circular weight limits, especially when they say except for access, often exist to manage traffic flow or protect residential streets, rather than because of a vehicle physically cannot pass. In the real world, you are constantly weighing all of that together. The map, the signs, the road itself, and your experience. There is a moment in situations like this where you feel the shift. The road tightens, the margin gets smaller. You're no longer thinking in miles or routes. You're thinking in inches and seconds. From the outside, everything looks simple. People can pause the video, rewind it, and point at the screen saying that they would have done differently. Inside the cab, you don't have that luxury. You are constantly balancing the vehicle, the surface, the surroundings, the risk to property, and the safety of everyone around you at the same time. Being professional doesn't mean never ending up in a difficult situation. It means recognizing when something isn't ideal, slowing everything down, and working the problem calmly instead of panicking. No rushing, no ego, no shortcuts. Just patience, mirrors, and time. Anyone who spent long enough on the road has their own version of this story. It's just a different street, different vehicle, but same feeling. After a while in this job, you realize something simple but important. Nothing goes wrong all at once. You are always one small decision away from a big problem. And the most important skill isn't confidence. It's knowing when to stop going forward. Sometimes the smartest decision is recognizing that continuing will only make things worse. By the time you reach a point where there's no easy exit, the situation is already built. Not in one moment, but over several miles. What matters then isn't how you got there, it's how you handle what comes next. And this is where the other video begins.